Now, one of the things that I'm often dealing with my clients, when they turn, they don't lean over like this to keep the dog up with them. Sit. Billy. Billy, heel, heel, heel. Right, everyone, so I'm going to do another Billy's vlog today. Sit. Unfortunately, I recently had an operation, so I haven't been able to do very much training and I can't move very well. You might see that in a moment. I'm a little bit closer. Billy, sit. So with Billy, I thought I would take it in a slightly different direction to what I did with Charlie, in that I'm going to do some more basic stuff. Single retrieves. I'm going to try and go over why I'm doing stuff. He can be a bit funny about multiple retrieves, which is partly why I'm doing singles. But that's why I thought it'd be quite good to show you training in a slightly less complicated format. I have very high standards for my dogs, and the level that I work at and the speed I work at is quite high, admittedly. So I thought we'd see if we could do a more simple version for you guys. Right, so what I've been working on with him is back retrieves using both hands, which you'll see in a moment, and some basic single lefts and rights as well. If I do multiples with him, at the moment he gets a little bit confused, so rather than pushing something with him he's not comfortable with, he's a really keen retriever, but he seems to get a little bit funny if I try and do anything too complicated. So unlike Charlie, where I was at the same age doing quite complex stuff for a young dog, I'm keeping this quite simple, but I think that will help the more novice handler. So the first thing that I always want to do when I'm doing handling training is, first of all, I've got to have a good heel. So Charlie, Billy, to get my names wrong, heel. Now, one of the things that I'm often dealing with my clients, when they turn, they don't lean over like this to keep the dog up with them. Sit. So when they go to turn, sometimes they do this and the dog carries on. So you'll see a lot of the time when I turn, when I'm turning to my right, I lean over to get the dog to keep up with me. See that? And again, keep up with me, then sit. Okay. If I'm going to do a straight retrieve, where I've walked out, put a retrieve, I walk away, I'll show you in a second. I always want to get going again before I stop the dog, because often the dog needs a couple of steps to line up before you then stop them. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So, Billy. So for example, now if I put a retrieve down, sit. So I haven't used one of my white dummies. Billy, sit. I'm gonna use one of these. I don't know how he's gonna pick this. I generally never picked this before. So for example, if I throw the retrieve down like that, now I could do a very simple straight retrieve, okay, but I'm gonna turn and walk away from the retrieve. So I'm gonna lean over, See, that's why the lead's here. So if the dog goes to lunge forward, you can stop them with minimal effort. If you've not got them on the lead and they run in, they're probably gonna get in the habit of doing that. So for example, if I walk away now, and then lean over to get him to keep up with me, I'll walk a couple steps, and then he's a little bit wonky here, but he's pretty much facing the retrieve straight away. And what you'll notice is I'll have a very, very clear verbal and physical when I send him. Back. I'm going to turn side on so you can see me. Good boy. You've never picked that before, have you? Good boy. He does like most things to pick up. There we go. Good boy. Now I have a saying which is left hand lead, right hand retrieve. So as soon as, I'm going to make sure I'm on camera here. As soon as the dog's in on me, I try to get my left hand on the lead first. That means I've stabilized the dog. And then my right hand is for taking the retrieve off the dog. So I'm going to do that again. Good boy. Heel. Good boy. I'm going to pull back straight. Now, one of the things people do is they pull tight to their body, and that will normally pull the dog's head in like that. And I want him to be facing absolutely straight on. So a couple of steps forwards, and I flick my wrist out, so I'm pulling out this way. I'm going to throw my retrieve down. I'm going to lean over to get the dog to keep up with me. Lovely. And again, a couple of steps forward, straighten up. Okay, nice, clear, verbal and physical. Back. I'm going to turn side on so you can see me. Good lad, good lad. Whee! So left hand lead, right hand retrieve. Stand up, little tug, and the dog is back at heel. One of the things I see with novice handlers a lot is they take the retrieve off the dog, and then the dog does 3 laps of them before they can stop the dog again. And that then becomes habit. So for me, by having my hand on the lead, standing up, stepping forwards, the dog is immediately back to heel. So we'll do that again. Billy, Billy, good boy, good boy. Sit, again, hand away from the body. I'm gonna throw this out a little bit further this time. I'm gonna tug into him this time. So I'm gonna do a little tug back. Use my leg to block him trying to go that way. So I'm gonna turn again, straighten up, sit, flicking my wrist out, not tight to my body, out, back. Don't normally then face this way, but it's just so that you can see. Good lad, woo! So you overshot me there, no big deal. Come around the right way. Left hand lead, right hand retrieve, stand up, little tug, dog's back at heel. And we haven't done laps. Okay, and again, I'm gonna lean over, walk out, flick my wrist out, sit, and put my retrieve down. I'm gonna tug into him, so that's my left, little tug, block with my leg. That stops him going the wrong way. Lean over, walk forward, straighten the dog up, wrist is out, slack on the lead. I don't want to hold him in the sat position just through tension in the lead. Back. Nice verbal, physical. There's no misunderstanding whether I've sent the dog or not then. Good boy. Good lad. Up. Good boy. Good boy. Left hand's on the lead, right hand on the retrieve, stand up, step forward, and I can go into my routine. So I'll do a couple quite fast. Sit. Flick the retrieve out, tug into him, back the other way, lean over. It's a bit of a figure of 8 really. Sit, back. Fortunately my microphone doesn't like it when I turn away from the camera, so I'm hoping this audio will be good. Good boy, and we're not too far away. Well done. Left hand lead, right hand retrieve, stand up, step forward, turn. One more like that. Sit. He's thinking, why am I doing this really basic stuff? Turn, good boy, turn again, good boy, walk back, straighten up, sit, wrist is out. I'm a little bit ahead of him, so I'm going to take a couple little steps back. Again, very clear, physical, very clear, verbal. Good boy, well done, good boy. Good lad. Do you like that one or not? Good boy. Left hand lead, right hand retrieve. Okay, right, phase 2. Right, so phase 2 now. So that was a nice straight retrieve. I'm now going to do a couple of back retrieves. I'm going to try and break that down nice and simple. So we're going to walk out, similar to before. Sit, Billy. I'm going to use the same retrieve just because I am. I'm going to chuck that down. Now, it doesn't have to go very far because we're actually going to walk away from the retrieve now. So I'm going to tug, turn into him, little tug, turn, few steps, straighten him up, and then sit. Now, one of the hardest things as a novice is to get the dog to sit with its back to the retrieve. He's probably going to do everything. He doesn't now, but when you first start, they'll do everything they can to not have their back to the retrieve. That's the hardest bit. But see, you wanted to go then. And again, this is why I use a training lead. It means I don't have to be any tougher than just stopping him with the lead and then starting again. He's very impatient. So normally when I'm training a spaniel, it's like bosh, 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 done, put them away. Or the standing around, which is why classes are not good for spaniels. It's like having an ADHD child in a library and asking them to be quiet. It's just not in their makeup to be like that. So for me, it's about just getting the session done nice and quickly. I'm going to walk out, walk back again, so I can do this in one fluid motion. So basically I want to get him sit facing me, and I'm going to break the back retrieve down. As soon as I can do a straight retrieve, what I just did moments before is what I call a basic routine. It's being able to walk the dog, sit the dog, eye contact, and send the dog, and have some sort of neat delivery. I can actually make him sit on the delivery on the way back. I might show you that in a moment. I only tend to do that if they're a real natural holder. And Billy, if you've got a dog that's fragile in the mouth, doesn't like holding the retrieve, then I tend to just carry on encouraging them up on me for a while. So I'm going to start again. So I'm just going to walk out, let him see the retrieve, sit. Good boy, going to turn, walk away. Couple of paces to straighten him up, sit, turn and face him. Now, when I first start this, I always want to take a step to the side that I want to use. Now, to start off with, because I'm a natural left-hand holder, which is how I teach most people, we're going to take a little step to the right, and we're going to use our right hand to get him to turn towards this hedge to go back. And I'm going to start with a stop whistle, little step to the right. Now, see, he's anticipating that there, so I'm just going to make him sit straight. Stop whistle doesn't mean go, it means sit. Sometimes people ask me, why do we do that? It's because we overlap some training later on, and that's where we would pick up from. So sit, Billy, sit. So the main thing is that he's absolutely straight with that retrieve behind. Step to my right, back. Nice clear verbal again. Stop whistle, clear verbal, right hand. Good boy. Good lad. Good boy. And I always want him at the moment. I'm using my right hand to turn towards my right. I don't know how much of that you saw. So I'm going to straighten him up, sit, turn and face him. Lead goes into my right hand this time. Back. And I use my left hand to get him to turn to go back that way. Good lad. Good lad. Good boy. Well done. Right, I'm going to try and do a couple quite quickly this time with less talking. And I'll try and do a sit delivery with him because he will do it quite neatly. Well, we might struggle with this though because this is new. Sit. Sit. Chuck it down, turn into him, walk back, sit, turn face him, back. I'll try and do a stand up. Good boy, good boy. Left hand under the chin so I can stabilise the dummy, right hand on the chest and I'm rubbing him on the chest. Now before I put my right hand on the retrieve, my left hand goes on the lead, right hand on the retrieve, tug, and we're into the next one. Sit, sit, do the other side, turn, walk away, sit, turn facing, back, and stand up again. Even though he has a good delivery, good boy, I don't actually make him sit that often because a lot of this retrieval is quite formal. If you leave the last bit and make it quite fun, it doesn't put so much pressure on the dog. Good boy. Right, so sit. So we've got two types of retrieve now. We've got a straight send in the basic routine, which you saw me do. And then that's a back retrieve. And let me put the stomach away. So I'm using my right hand, the dog must turn to my right to go back. If I use my left hand, the dog must turn to my left to go back. And at the beginning, I'll normally take a step to the right or the left, depending on the side I'm doing. Also, you've got to make sure that that retrieve is directly behind the dog and the dog fully has its back to the retrieve and it's not slightly tilted one way or another. Right everyone, so I thought I'd just do a quick recap of what you've seen me do. So the first thing is working on the heel, having a good sit, making sure I'm pulling through the lead correctly to get the dog lined up straight. No pulling tight to the hip, that will always pull the dog's head towards your knee and make their bum flick out. We want nice straight lines, dog by your side pointing in a straight line. Or if we're doing the back retrieves, which you then saw me do, making sure that the dog is facing you absolutely directly facing you with the retrieve directly behind them. Once you're facing them, you take a little step to the left or the right, depending on which side you want to do, either leads in your right hand or your left hand, and then a nice clear hand signal with the stop whistle, and then you push the dog round and back. Anyway, I hope this video has been useful. Next week I'm going to cover some lefts and rights, some blinds and memories, and also some marking retrieves out into the field. Don't forget to subscribe and like, it really does help my channel. Happy training, guys.